Hi beauty fam, welcome back to MikiCarrBeauty. I'm Miki Carico, and on my channel I love to talk about luxury skincare, beauty, and sometimes luxury goods. And today I am trying out two looks of the new Chanel eyeshadow quad in Rivage. This beautiful blue, brown, and peachy with some iridescent topper quad. I also picked up the Vernis, the nail polish in Lagune. So if you're interested in seeing two looks with this eyeshadow palette and a little bit of a demo with this beautiful nail polish, then keep watching. Remember to subscribe, comment, and like below. It helps me out engagement on my channel. And with that out of the way, beauty fam, let's begin. Do a demo of the beautiful products here. Okay, so I ended up picking up this collection through Chanel.com. Chanel came up with two quads. One was blue and the other is coral. They also came out with blush, two blush colors, and then Rouge Coco Balms, and then two nail polishes, a blue and a coral. And then they also came out with a blue liner. I only picked up two products because I'm trying to be good at my purchases and smarter with my purchases. And then looking at already what do I own and what am I really wanting and probably going to wear. So I love blues, and you know, I also was intrigued because this is also a basic palette with just three colors, and actually you could do a really basic look with those two. You don't have to use all four, or even all, you know, two. You can just use one and be done with any eyeshadow quad. So I ended up picking up the Rivage, and I'll put the price below. And I ended up picking up the nail polish Lagune, and I'll put the price below. What I read is that this collection is inspired by the sea, as Gabrielle Chanel loved the sea. Before I actually got into it, you can see the swatches where there was a beautiful embossing as if that mirrored the concentric circles, as if it was like a drop of water moving out. And in the blue section, there was like a really, really beautiful CC in the middle, and that is gone now. Once I swatched it, it went away, the embossing. This is the packaging, super beautiful, blue on top, beige on the bottom, the peachy beige that they have, or maybe the white. I didn't think that they only picked the three colors to mimic what is in the pan. I just want to show you two looks for how I would use it. So the first look, I'm just going to narrate over. It's really more of a kind of simple look. A lot of people can be intimidated by more bold colors. This is probably how I'd wear this quad, mostly these colors, and then the pop of the blue on the outside here. And the eye look that I have on my eyes now is obviously the more dramatic one if you really wanted to really showcase the blue in this eyeshadow quad. I don't think I'd wear this every day. I think I might wear the top one but not the bottom. I'm not a big eyeliner and eyeshadow, bright eyeshadow on the bottom kind of person, but I wanted to show you how you could use these palettes in either a simple, realistic, everyday look, elegant, soft, everyday look with a pop of color, and then a more like, you know, really using the blue to showcase. So we're gonna cut to the demo, the first one with a voiceover, and the second will be with me chatting a little bit.
taking a Hakuhodo brush, crease brush, I take the brown shade and use that all over my crease. I was hoping this crease shade would be a little bit more pigmented. It's just slightly deeper and grayer than my skin tone. And then I go into the Champagne Peach shade, and I'm just curious to see how that looks all over my lid. And these two colors could be an easy 2-shade look for an everyday look, and I could stop there. But we're gonna play with the blue shade, which is the star of the show. And I want this look to be really light and kind of a look that I actually would wear during the day or at work. And I'm primarily putting the blue on the outer corner, using that same brown at the bottom, and then tapping some of that topper shade. It's really pretty. It's a topper that has some white and blue shift to it. It's pretty dry, so I'm just using my finger. I didn't want to use a brush, and I found the best application was to use my finger or use glitter glue. And this is the final look. I use the SISLEY sparkling blue liner, some mascara to finish up the look, some Dior lip maximizer because it's such a light look, and I actually do love this look that I put on. I did notice some creasing after a couple hours, so even with a primer I would have to probably use again some sort of glitter glue or an Intensifies one by Pat McGrath. But this is the look number one that I prefer actually using more on an everyday basis, something that's definitely wearable. If you're afraid to start using the blue, just put that in the outer crease as an accent shade. And I'm feeling really cute here, and I love this look. And apologies, these pictures ended up looking blown out more than I wanted.
Okay, beauty fam, this is part 2 of the try-on of the new Chanel Rivage. Actually ended up getting to do my nails. I think it's so pretty. I love it. And I obviously have a thing for blue nail polishes because I have the one from Dior, Gucci, and then Chanel. And I'm like, I thought I didn't need another blue nail polish, but they're definitely different. This is more of like a baby, like sky blue. And this is more of a sea blue, like a rich, deeper navy blue with a sheen. And this is a summer kind of almost cornflower color. And it's got a shimmer sheen. I love it. And that's what the nail polish looks like. So pretty. I'm going to take this Sonia G Classic Crease, which is a smaller crease brush, and then go into this more matte shade here. This is very close to my skin tone, maybe just a smidge deeper, but it doesn't show up too much. What is nice about this palette is that if you didn't want to use the blue shade, you don't have to. You could just easily use these 3 colors, and it's a pretty boring basic palette. And if you did want to use the blue, which is what I did on my first look, just use it as a pop of color in the outer crease. It's a very neutral brown, which I kind of like. Those are always good to have in a palette. So that is that shade here. And as you can see, it goes on pretty lightly to the naked eye. It's just a very light wash of color. It's just a smidge deeper than my actual skin tone. So I think the challenge about this palette is that it doesn't have a lot of depth. What I'm going to do actually is use this Intensifies one by Pat McGrath. What I did notice is that this pretty topper shade with a blue shift in there was very tacky, or there was a lot of fallout with that shade, and it kind of migrated to my eye. So I'm taking that blue color because I'm going a little bit more dramatic today, and I just want to see how much I can build that up. And obviously this is way more dramatic than the last one I did. I just really wanted to see how much I could build up this blue pigment, because this is kind of the star of the show in this palette. So there she is. You can see how blue it can get. Now, it's probably too blue for most people. I get it. What I'm going to try and do, I'm just kind of curious. Let's use these sponge applicators. I'm going to this really pretty peachy beige color here. And that's what it looks like. A peachy color. And I'm actually going to use that as the kind of like the inner part of my lid. To take some of this brown shade here with my Chikuhodo brush. This is a squirrel hair brush. It's an eyeshadow brush. It's got a soft tip. And I want to just, you know, use it as my bottom shade. Okay, you can see just added a little bit more depth compared to the other side. You can see. I'm going to take that same peachy shade, and I'm actually using a little bit more of the tip. And I'm going to use that on the inner part of this look down here. Just bringing it down a little bit and then using some of that as my inner corner highlight. I definitely don't want to use that shimmer shade as my inner corner highlight. In my experience, it's way too flaky. And what I'm going to do is apply this again over the blue. And taking this ring finger and using that as a topper. Not putting too much. I'm actually tapping some off. Yesterday I put too much. So I'm using that as like a topper shade. You see a little bit of a difference there. And with these topper shades, what I like to do is actually go a little bit higher. Just makes it a little more editorial. Okay, and I'm gonna do the same thing for the other side. And yesterday I did definitely a more wearable look. So that would be like the more realistic, wearable, everyday look. Although, you know, some people wear their makeup this pigmented and dramatic. This might be their everyday. Makeup is a preference. So I just wanted to show you how you could use both of all of these shades in two different ways. Okay, so I'm gonna stop there. And then I'm going to use some liner. I did not end up getting the new blue liner. And yesterday I used the SISLEY Phyto-Khol Star in Mystic Blue. And I'm not going to use that today, but let me give you a swatch of what that looks like. And there's a bit, do you see that? There's a little bit of a shimmer, and I think it's such a pretty color. Today I'm going to use the UOMA Salute to the Sun blue liner that I have, and I think this is closer in color and vibe to what they are selling. Yeah, this is definitely more like the vibe they're selling for the Chanel. So I'm going to use this, and in the promo pictures I'll put it here. They really use this kind of like all over, like they looks like they tight lined with the blue and they put it at the bottom too. So I'm going to try doing that today. And what I'm going to do before I continue is, it almost looks like they smudged it out a bit. This is a Katie Jane Hughes 21 brush. It's a more precise tip. So I'm just going into that blue color again. So you can see it's like more, there's definitely more there that you can just put right over the line. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just putting that over the liner to make that blue pop more, but it also serves as a way to kind of set that liner. And it almost looks like in the pictures that they went back into this shimmer shade here and kind of put it underneath. And I'm trying to keep that away from my eyelids as much as possible, because there is a little bit of fallout I'm finding with this shade. Okay, I'm taking a more focused tip. This is a Katie Jane Hughes Spectrum 20 brush. Yes, 20. And then going into that shimmer multi-chrome shade. Yep, I'm running that along, which is nicer. Okay, that's enough. It's pretty crumbly. I don't really want to fuss with it any more than I need to. Okay, so here we are with the finished makeup look, and I just finished with Chanel mascara, Volume de Chanel. I just opened up a new mascara and finished with Rose Polaire, which was part of the Healthy Winter Glow Blush. A lot of people didn't think it would show up, but I am medium tan and it is so pretty. It's this one here. It just has to be built up. It's like, for me, it's like the perfect flush of pink for my complexion. And this is what Rose Polaire looks like. For bronzer, I use the Le Beige Oversized Bronzer in Sun Bath Deep. And then for the lipstick, I always cocktail my lipsticks. This is 196 A Demi Mort. I love to run Intemporeille 60 over this. And then it just creates this really beautiful kind of nude pink color for me. And I thought it would be really nice because this collection also came out with the Rouge Coco Balm. I'm not buying any more of those because I bought enough, but I toppered this look here with Keep Cool, which is Rouge Coco Balm. And it just adds a beautiful shimmer and moisturizing to the lips. So that's definitely a cocktail. I mean, I went extra, but I love to cocktail my lipsticks, especially if they're in a similar hue, because this was too warm, but this would be too light to cover my pigment. I just wanted to combine all those. So that's on my lips. And then lip liner, Lisa Eldridge Muse on the outer edge of the lips. I think this is a really fun palette. It goes really well, I think, with my outfit. Let me know what you think. So far, I love the nail polish. It's a very unique color, and that was like the only thing I knew for certain I was going to pick up. I was on the fence about the blue because I have concerns about even the brown shades. So I wanted this to be more pigmented than it actually is. So if you can see, that's pretty close to my skin tone. It's definitely, there's a little more gray and depth in it. But on me, it just kind of barely shows up. And I have to really work hard for that to show up. In the past formulas of these don't add texture to my lids. What happens, I found when my first application, is that when I use the topper shade, it did add texture. This is very, very dry. So I'm going to show you what happens, like even I build it up. It's pretty crumbly. What I notice about this is that you kind of have to be careful about this shimmer shade. Now, obviously you can see that I really like blue because I have the nail polish, the sweater. Would I do my makeup like this again? I don't know. You tell me. It's a little bit too much for me. I might do the blue on top, but I don't think I would put blue at the bottom. But if you think it's cute, let me know. I think my style is more the first look where I narrate, where it's very soft. It's mostly these two shades here and then like the pop of the blue on the outer end, and then really relying on the blue liner to carry and accent the look. I'm more comfortable with that kind of blue look with this palette. Now, do you need it? I don't think so. I would ask yourself if you have these colors already, like these three colors, these basic colors, because are you really going to use that blue all that often? If you think you are, great. I know I have a lot of blue and I like to use it as an accent. It reminds me a little bit of those Prada quad, three basic colors, and then there was like a pop shade of the billiard green or a red or a purple, and it was very pigmented, and I don't know if everyone will like those, but I love them. I love that formula. I love the concept, and it was like a basic palette plus a pop of color. So to me, this is like this similar in that it's a basic palette and a pop of color. It's not super pigmented, so I think it's really accessible. The embossing already has come out, so If you're buying it for the embossing and you're a collector that just collects makeup and doesn't use it, great, because you're going to see the nice concentric circles. And then at the beginning, there was like a little CC here in the middle. It was really, really cute, but it definitely wore away on first swatch. So I am happy that I got this. I just wish the brown was a little bit more in depth, like it was a little deeper or more pigmented. And if you like blues and you don't have this kind of blue in your collection, you might want to think about getting it. It's probably limited edition, but I would bet if you are a makeup lover, I would guess that you might have blue. Okay, I grabbed all the light blues that I have in my collection that could be dupes. Now, different formulas. So these are two cream formulas. This is Kulfi and this is a liquid, this is a cream blue, and then this is more of like a topper from Suku. Super pretty. Let me just swatch it for you really quickly. I'd actually use that as a topper for this look to layer, and actually I'm gonna leave this out. I'm gonna use that. Gotta use that before it ends its shelf life. And then this kind of creamy one from Kulfi, but it's more green. And let me do a swatch of that blue. You can kind of see, I'll run it right here. And it's a very unique blue. It's like a shimmery sky blue. And then I was thinking the Isamaya French Industrial Palette 2.0. And this one had a lot of blues, but these are like duochrome. So this is more of a purple blue, and this one has a shift. So there's no like really solid blue. This is almost like, again, like that Kulfi one. They have like a shift to them. The closest really would be this one here. Very creamy. This is the Isamaya French. And it's more like, it has a shift of like a white in there. And then when I was doing the makeup, I immediately thought of the Bridgerton palette. Now, a lot of people don't like these palettes. I actually love these. This is the one that has the blue in it. What is this one called? The Diamond of the First Water. And it has this blue here. And it's definitely more of a chunky blue. Yeah, you can see it's not as smooth as this. So it's definitely not the same, but the vibes are similar. And obviously, because it's Pat McGrath, she has more depth of color here, which I definitely appreciate and enjoy. I was thinking about the Christmas Eve palette from ODEN'S. So we have this blue here, which is similar. Let me just do a side by side. But it's, again, it's a different formula. But let me swatch it for you. This is the color Blue Ice from the ODEN'S Christmas palette. Again, pretty chunky, not the same formula, as you can see. A lot of people love the Chanel formula because they feel it does not add texture to their eyelid. So although this ODEN'S is really pretty, it is a different formula altogether. I actually love this palette. So if you have the ODEN'S palette, I would say that you probably don't need this eyeshadow quad, just because of, yes, the blue is a different formula, but you can see how much I actually think this one pops more, and this is a little bit more flat. And then the last blue that I pulled was the one from Suku from the, I think it was the makeup sets. This is number 131. I think it's called, I'll put the name of all the products I'm mentioning below. This blue is so pretty. Again, different formula, very slurry. It actually has more depth. So you can see it has more like purple blue underneath as opposed to kind of a sky pastel blue. The closest blue really is the ODEN'S, but nothing of that formula. That's why I was so intrigued by this palette. The last thing I wanted to show you was the Danessa Myricks Lightworks palette. And I was thinking a lot about like the blue section of her palette here. And let me just kind of show you those. There's like a shift on those, and those reminded me a lot of this here, but this one is more dry and crumbly. The Chanel versus Danessa Myricks, those end up being like super creamy, and that's why people go kind of nuts over the Lightworks palette. This is Danessa Myricks. See how shimmery those are? And then you have this one from Chanel. It's pretty crumbly and not very pigmented. So if you're wanting this palette based on that shimmer shade and you have a Lightworks palette, I would say like save your money as well. But some people are really die-hard Chanel fans, and they'll get the Chanel quads no matter what, because they don't want to have to, and I get it, they don't want to have to piece together the different shadows they have kind of throughout their collection. So I'm happy I got it. I don't have regrets. I think I just have to know that it's not going to be as pigmented as Oden's Eye. I think this is probably the closest palette in terms of a vibe one could get with this Chanel Rivage palette. And so if you own this, you probably don't need this, but if you're diehard, you'll probably get the Rivage palette anyway. And that's it for my review. Thanks for hanging out with me till the end, beauty fam. Remember to subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Comment and like below helps me out. If you're interested in learning more about the products I use and mentioned in Swatch, all of those will be listed below in the description box. My affiliate link is there if you'd like to support my channel. But moreover, they're there for you as a reference. My closest foundation shades are also listed below. And so all the products I either use or mentioned today are below. And then as always, please be very kind with yourself and others, beauty fam. And just be you. Until the next video, take good care of yourself. Bye.